Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to uncover a sort of secret account, one that's probably just sitting right there inside your benefits portal as we speak. You likely already have access to it. And the crazy thing? The IRS accidentally made it the absolute best retirement vehicle in the entire country. Seriously, better than your 401k, way better than your Roth IRA. Yet, almost nobody uses it right. Now, you might be thinking, what if the best retirement account isn't actually a retirement account at all? Because if you've ever used this tool, you probably think of it as, just a handy way to pay for Band-Aids or your doctor's copays. But treating it that way, it's kind of like owning a Ferrari and only ever driving it to the end of the driveway to check the mail. Today, we're going to change how we look at this tool entirely and unlock hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax-free money. All right, let's start simple. What we're talking about here is a health savings account, or an HSA for short. Basically, it's a tax-advantaged account available to folks who are enrolled in a high-deductible health plan. If you qualify, you can put your own money into this HSA. For 2026, the limits are roughly $4,300 a year for individuals and about $8,500 for families. Naturally, this money is meant to help cover medical expenses. But here's the kicker. Most people stop right there. And by doing that, they are leaving an enormous amount of money on the table. To see the true power of this account, we've got to talk about the triple tax advantage. This is exactly why financial nerds get genuinely excited about HSAs. Think about a standard 401k for a second. You get a nice tax break when the money goes in, sure, but you'll pay full income tax on every single dollar you withdraw in retirement. Now, with a Roth IRA, it's flipped. You pay taxes going in, but it's totally tax-free coming out. So they both offer two tax breaks. But the HSA, it is literally the only account in the entire U.S. tax code that skips taxes at every single stage. The money goes in tax-free, it grows tax-free, and it comes out tax-free, as long as it's used for qualified medical expenses. That's not some marketing gimmick. That is exactly how the tax code is written. Okay, let's look at Barry versus Patricia. Let's dive into this with a quick story to make all this abstract math feel a bit more real. Let me introduce you to Band-Aid Barry and patient Patricia. Now, they have the exact same job, the exact same HSA, and they both put in $4,000 every single year. But Barry treats his account like the money is just burning a hole in his pocket. Literally, every time he gets a headache or a $12 copay, boom, he immediately drains his HSA to cover it. Patricia, on the other hand, does something entirely different. When she has those small medical expenses, she just pays them out of pocket, in cash from her regular checking account. She leaves her HSA completely untouched. She leaves it fully invested, letting it grow the entire time, basically treating it like a forgotten 401k. So, let's fast forward 35 years to age 65. Because Patricia let that triple tax advantage actually do its job, her balance isn't just her $140,000 of total contributions. Assuming some perfectly reasonable average market returns, she is now sitting on a small fortune of well over $400,000. Now let's check back in on Barry. By the time he hits retirement, having contributed that exact same $140,000 over those 35 years, his balance is basically zero. He treated a massive wealth-building tool like a grocery cart for Advil, while Patricia built an absolute mountain of wealth. Which brings us to the decades-old receipt strategy. You're probably wondering, how does Patricia actually get all that money out? Well, this is the cleverest part of this whole explainer. There is a completely legal IRS-sanctioned loophole when it comes to reimbursement time limits. Simply put, the IRS has absolutely zero time limit on when you can reimburse yourself for a qualified medical expense from your HSA. As long as the expense happened after your HSA was opened, you can wait decades before pulling the money out. So, at age 35, Patricia pays a $200 doctor bill in cash and just saves the receipt digitally. From age 35 all the way to 65, that $200 stays invested inside her HSA, compounding beautifully. Then, at age 65, she pulls out that same $200 completely tax-free, using her 30-year-old receipt to justify the withdrawal. She's essentially building this massive, tax-free stream of retirement income, totally disguised as a reimbursement for decades-old medical bills. Now, I know exactly what you might be thinking. What happens if you get to retirement and you just don't have a giant folder of decades-old medical receipts? Like, does the account become totally useless? Not even close. What is really fascinating is this sort of magical transformation that happens on your 65th birthday. You see, before age 65, if you pull money out of an HSA for non-medical reasons, you get hit with regular income tax plus a very steep 20% penalty. Ouch. But after age 65, that penalty completely disappears. You can pull the money out for literally anything, a vacation, a new car, whatever you want, and you just pay regular income tax on it. At that point, it behaves exactly like a traditional IRA. So in the absolute worst case scenario, it just turns into a fantastic, normal retirement account. Best case scenario, it's the most tax-efficient account you own. Let's take a look at the fine print and potential pitfalls. We definitely need to be realistic here and look at the catches and common mistakes. Like, why doesn't anyone know about this? Well, frankly, HR isn't trying to teach you a 30-year investment strategy during open enrollment. They're just trying to get you through a giant stack of forms in 15 minutes flat. Because of that rush, there is a crucial, super easy to miss step. HSA providers frequently default your money to a low-interest cash holding. So if your balance is just sitting there in cash earning basically nothing, you are not getting Patricia's results. You have to actively go in and choose to invest it yourself. Also, we have to look impartially at the biggest catch of all. You need a high-deductible health plan to even have an HSA in the first place. These plans naturally mean higher out-of-pocket costs before your insurance actually kicks in. So this is a fantastic fit if you're generally healthy, you have a solid emergency fund, and you expect minimal medical events. But if you're managing a chronic condition, or you're expecting major medical events, or maybe you just lack that financial cushion right now, a lower deductible plan might honestly be the smarter choice for you, even without the HSA benefit. It's not one size fits all. You absolutely have to run your own numbers. Now, if it is a good fit, you'll want to know what actually counts as a qualified medical expense. And honestly, it is way broader than most people assume. We're talking dental work, vision care and glasses, therapy and mental health counseling, certain over-the-counter meds, and even some medical travel. What this means is your theoretical pool of savable receipts for those tax-free retirement withdrawals is much, much larger than just your standard doctor visits. But be super careful here. The single biggest mistake that can completely ruin this careful planning is accidentally spending your HSA funds on non-qualified items before you hit age 65. Think things like unapproved vitamins or cosmetic procedures. Doing that triggers regular income taxes plus that massive 20% penalty we talked about earlier. So always take 30 seconds to check if an expense is officially qualified before swiping that HSA debit card. So the crucial point is putting this all together into a system. Let's look at your 6-step master plan. Step 1 is confirming that a high-deductible health plan actually makes sense for your specific life situation. Step 2 is contributing consistently. Listen, if your employer offers a match, capture it. That is literal free money. Then try to build toward the annual max. Step 3 is absolutely non-negotiable. Once your account hits the minimum threshold required, you must actively move that cash into investment so it can actually grow over time. Moving on to step 4, this is the big behavioral shift. When small expenses pop up, pay them out of pocket in cash and save that receipt digitally. Step 5, just let the account compound for decades, treating it like a true retirement account. And finally, step 6, at age 65, use it for tax-free reimbursements of all those saved receipts, or simply use it as a totally flexible traditional IRA. That right there is how you make the transformation from Band-Aid Barry to Patient Patricia. So why does all of this matter so much? Well, because healthcare costs for a retired couple can easily reach 6 figures over the course of their retirement. It is hands down one of the biggest, most underestimated expenses out there. An HSA that's been growing for decades isn't just some clever tax trick. It is a vital financial shield, built specifically to cover the exact expenses that blindside so many retirees. Which brings us to your homework for this explainer. I want you to log into your benefits portal tonight, and I want you to answer this one question. Is your HSA money currently just sitting in cash earning nothing, or is it actually invested? Take a look, fix your settings if you need to, and hey, feel free to share your surprising findings with others to keep the learning going. Treat this account like the wealth-building machine it was accidentally designed to be, and start letting that triple tax advantage work for you today.